Hey there! So today we have another review. This is a beer from Boulevard in collaboration with Modern Times. This is Restless Nights, 7.5% bourbon barrel aged coffee porter with bourbon barrel aged beans. So, fun thing about this one, this is 50% of 50% of it is a 14% bourbon barrel aged imperial porter blended with obviously an unaged beer that is a lot smaller. And then they use bourbon barrel aged coffee beans, which is a special technique or something that Modern Times is known for. So brewed at Boulevard, super fun label on this one actually. Like just cool. What is that? Like abstract kind of like fun, colorful art? Yeah. Anyway, so the beer comes in a, let's see how this pours. Deep brown color. Beer is actually not completely black. It's really just a deep brown with a little bit of brown on the edges, light to medium brown head on that. Oh, nice. Definitely getting a nice spark of the barrel coming through. It has that woodiness, that kind of like sharp, you know, bourbon woody character. Coffee coming through as well. A little bit of that. It's a nice combination of the char of the barrel and then that kind of like roasty bean character. A little bit of vanilla. A nice kind of like medium to medium plus roast nuttiness. It's pretty nice, yeah. It's a nice combination of the vanilla from the barrel, the sharpness of the booze, like the actual bourbon character instead of like the barrel really. It has both the vanilla characters, but also just part of the sharpness of the bourbon and then some coffee as well. Ooh. So this beer actually explodes a little bit more on the palate, huh? What is that going on? Huh. It's very dry, which is strange. It's actually not that sweet of a beer. It has this kind of like a little bit of like drying bourbon character, but also like a nice kind of light nuttiness, like almost like peanut skin, deeply roasted peanuts and like peanut butter kind of character almost on the back end. Geez, huh? If I would have guessed this might have even been nuts roasted into this beer, but I guess it's complexity of the roasted beans. The roast is actually not that intense on the beer. The beer is really not that big. Wow. I guess 50% of the beer blended in, it really like cuts away from that big 14% beer. There's not that much residual sweetness. There's not that much intense roast character. It really honestly tastes a lot like a bourbon barrel aged brown ale. It really doesn't really come off as like porter or stout to me. Yeah, a little bit like a, I guess they're right that it's like a porter, so it like comes off a little bit less roasty and intense than a stout. What is that? There's a lot of this kind of lingering, like complexity of the maybe the coffee, which is offering this like really intense kind of chocolatey note. So it almost tastes like it's a cacao beer as well. Really interesting. Tastes like it has cacao, coffee, and nuts, but it's just the coffee and the barrel coming through. Yeah, it's perplexing beer. It doesn't really like, you know, it's actually not bad in the sense that like you keep having to think about it. You have to keep thinking about where the imperial 14% beer is, where the unaged beer is. I mean, the 14% I guess is like really what you're looking for, the barrel character, where the unaged beer is and where the coffee really plays into it. And I guess the bourbon barrel aged coffee plays into it. And just like, you're constantly on your toes with this one about where all the flavors coming through, because it's almost like a little bit like light, kind of like appley sweetness coming through as well, a little bit of baking spice, almost like some cigar char, chocolate, cocoa nib. Yeah, and then it's all like wrapped around a beer that's actually not that sweet and like decently dry, wonderfully drinkable. Very interesting. This one for me is like, you know, obviously not for your dessert heads, not for the people that, you know, I generally prefer the sweeter beers or something that has a little bit more roast intensity. Well, that's weird. You know, something that's just like has a little bit more impact, but I'm happy with it where this beer is. It's also not necessarily like too big of like a, hey, if you're a cold brew drinker, you must drink this kind of beer. It just dances around all these kind of different places. This one for me gets a 90. It's a really fun one. It's definitely recommended. If you want to check out a beer that really makes you think a little bit more and like, you know, looking for the peaks and valleys, a little bit nooks and crannies of a beer, this is one of those. Until next time, guys, cheers. Boulevard in collaboration with Modern Times, Restless Nights. Until next time, cheers. Later.